Picture a cozy Denver dining room roast, steaming my family, all smiles, until I caught Mom and my sister grinding pills into my plate, thinking I'd never notice. I'm Crystal, an IT specialist 32, trained to spot traps in systems or schemes. But nothing braced me for this gut punch after my grandmother's passing last month, her inheritance turning kin into plotters overnight. When Dad's text pinged family dinner urgent talk, it felt like a setup. Pulling into our suburban driveway, the house seemed too still, their warmth a mask. At the table, their small talk grated tension thick as the gravy. Then I overheard Mom whisper to my sister, "It's mixed in good, soon enough we'll have control." Her tone sharp and hushed as she glanced my way. My blood raced, but I smirked, leaned back and said, "Finally the day has come." Their eyes widened, probably pegging me as unhinged. They had no clue the inheritance was locked down, wired with an alert to flag any foul play. And that was just the opening move. Have you ever faced a family betrayal that flipped your world? Drop it in the comments, this story is about to get wilder. Back in our Denver neighborhood during the 90s, my weekends with Grandma Gladys at her go-to diner on Colfax Avenue were my escape from the chaos at home. The place had that classic greasy spoon vibe, vinyl booths cracked from years of use, the sizzle of bacon on the griddle, and the hum of locals chatting over bottomless coffee. While kids my age chased Pokemon cards or rollerbladed down the block, I'd perch at her booth, the clink of coffee mugs fading as she taught me how to master money. She'd unfold a napkin, divvy up her spare change into stacks, one for bills like utilities and groceries, one for savings to grow over time, one for helping neighbors or charity, and a sliver for simple joys like an ice cream cone. Crystal, anchor your future with smart choices, not fleeting wants. She'd say, her voice steady amid the diner noise, eyes warm with quiet pride. By 9, I was tracking every penny, from shoveling snowy driveways in our cul-de-sac, tucking them into a locked box under my bed, dreaming of something solid to stand on. My sister Lisa, 3 years older, treated cash like it grew on trees. She'd burn through her allowance on sparkly nail polish concert tees or those trendy Beanie Babies everyone collected back then, her room a mess of wrappers and receipts by Monday. When her wallet ran dry, she'd pout to Mom and Dad for more, and Denise and Troy never hesitated, sliding her crisp bills from their wallets, calling it a little help to get by. It wasn't just small stuff. When Lisa crashed her rollerblades into a neighbor's fence during a reckless spin around the block, the wood splintering with a crack that echoed through the street, they yanked money from my locked box to fix it, swearing they'd replace it soon. That promise was as empty as my piggy bank after the raid. I hauled trash cans in the biting Denver chill to rebuild my stash, my breath fogging with every resentful step, fingers numb from the cold. The favoritism stung deeper than I could name back then. At 11, I scrimped for months to join a school tech club, eyeing a basic computer kit that promised to spark my IT dreams, the kind with floppy disks and simple coding games. Days before I could pay the fee, Lisa begged for a new jacket to fit in at her middle school crowd, tears in her eyes as she spun a tale of being left out. Mom and Dad handed her my savings without a second thought, saying, "Family comes first. Crystal, Lisa needs this now." I swallowed the lump in my throat, the unfairness twisting like a knot, and took on extra babysitting gigs after school, watching toddlers in our snowy subdivision while my friends played. I made it to the club, eventually plugging away at those early programs, but the betrayal cut sharp, a reminder that my efforts were always second string. Gladys saw the cracks forming long before I did. Over our diner, coffee steam curling between us like a veil, she'd lean close, her hand on mine. "Crystal, love your family, but guard your foundation. Set lines they can't cross without consequence." Her words sank deep, a shield against the constant pull. While Lisa chased the latest fads, CD players blaring pop hits, mall sprees, piling up bags, I built habits for security, my locked box a quiet rebellion against the tide. Those Denver days etched a divide that ran silent but deep, hinting at storms I couldn't yet predict, the kind that brew slow and hit hard. Entering high school in the early 2000s, our Denver home felt like a stage where Lisa always stole the spotlight. The favoritism that simmered in childhood now blazed a constant hum under every family moment. I was piecing together my path juggling classes and late-night shifts at a local tech shop, fixing PCs to fund my state college tuition. My IT dreams took root there, troubleshooting cables in a cramped back room, the glow of monitors lighting my way toward a stable future. Every paycheck went to my savings, each deposit a step toward independence, fueled by Grandma Gladys's lessons echoing in my head. Lisa, meanwhile, coasted on chaos. She'd landed a full ride to a private college in Boulder, her mediocre grades. No match for Mom and Dad's checkbook, but she partied through lectures, flunking half her courses, switching majors like outfits, art history one week, fashion design the next. When she racked up $1,000 in overdraft fees from late-night bar tabs, Denise and Troy wired her money from our family account, the same one I'd contributed to from my tech gigs. They called it supporting her potential but never mentioned repayment. I gritted my teeth, clocked extra hours rebooting servers under flickering lights, my hands sore from typing to keep my own plans afloat. The divide wasn't just financial, it seeped into every choice. At 16, I begged for a chance to join a coding camp in Denver, a summer program that could have landed me an internship. Lisa, home from college, crashed Mom's old sedan into a parked truck during a joyride, leaving a crumpled bumper. Instead of making her earn the repair cash, Mom and Dad drained my camp fund, shrugging it off as family priorities. The rejection burned a sharp pang in my chest. I scraped together odd jobs tutoring kids in basic HTML, cleaning dusty keyboards at the shop to pay for a cheaper online course, my nights blurring into lines of code. Lisa's failures kept piling up, but they never stuck. After flunking out of Boulder, she bounced to a string of jobs: retail at Cherry Creek Mall, a short-lived stint as a barista, even a promising event planner gig she quit after missing deadlines for a music festival. Each flop brought Mom and Dad to the rescue, offering loans or tapping their Denver network for fresh starts. Over Sunday dinners, they'd gush about Lisa's latest big idea, a boutique startup, a travel vlog, while my steady promotions from shop assistant to IT specialist at a local firm barely got a nod. I'd sit there, fork in hand, offering resume tips or budgeting tricks, only to hear Troy say, "Lisa's just more creative, Crystal, her path's different." The unfairness gnawed at me, but I kept it locked down, driving through Denver's snowy streets to our family home for those tense meals. Lisa would breeze in flaunting a new purse or salon highlights, her debts invisible, thanks to our parents' safety net. My condo down payment, earned through years of debugging systems and client calls, felt like a secret victory I couldn't share. Gladys's voice lingered, set lines, guard your foundation, but I wasn't ready to confront the rift. Those teen years with their slights and sacrifices built a quiet resolve, a foundation that would soon face a test bigger than I could have imagined. Last year in her Denver condo, when Grandma Gladys got hit with a severe heart failure diagnosis, the news landed like a boulder on my chest. I rearranged my IT schedule, pushing client deadlines, swapping shifts at the firm to be by her side through cardiac treatments. Driving her along Denver's icy boulevards to the medical center, I'd grip the wheel, heart heavy, as we navigated snowy traffic to make appointments. I spent hours in sterile hospital rooms fetching her favorite chamomile tea or reading her worn-out detective novels to ease the fatigue. Late nights, I'd balance work emails on my laptop while she rested, the hum of her oxygen machine, a constant reminder of time slipping away. Those moments, her frail hand squeezing mine, were everything. She was my rock, the one who'd taught me to stand firm. Lisa's presence was a stark contrast. She showed up twice in 6 months, each visit shorter than a sitcom episode. Her first stop, she rolled in with a to-go bag from a trendy low-dough eatery, barely staying long enough to unpack it. She chattered about her latest hustle, a pop-up boutique idea, before steering the talk to investment cash from Gladys. Her eyes glinted with expectation, but Gladys brushed it off with a tired smile, her gaze flicking to me. The second visit was worse. Lisa breezed in, hair freshly dyed, and pitched a surefire influencer gig, dropping hints about needing a loan to build her brand. I bit my tongue as she left early, claiming a work call, her heels clicking out the door. Gladys's silence spoke volumes. She saw through it. One quiet evening, as Denver's skyline glowed beyond her condo window, Gladys pulled me close, her voice low but clear, despite the oxygen tube. "Crystal, we've got business to handle," she said, nodding toward her phone. I dialed Mr. Derek, her attorney, on speaker, his calm tone cutting through the room's stillness. With Gladys alert, she laid out changes to her estate, insisting on privacy. Over weeks, we worked with Mr. Derek and Aunt Linda, her sister, who drove from her Aurora home to witness documents. Linda, practical and no-nonsense, coordinated notaries and reviewed terms, her pen moving with purpose. The irrevocable trust named me sole beneficiary, transferring Gladys's saving stocks and condo deeds safe from probate's reach. Gladys explained it one night, her words deliberate as city lights flickered outside. "I love Denise and Troy, but they've propped up Lisa's failures, 2 long loans for flops, excuses for her recklessness. I should have stepped in years ago. This trust keeps what I built from being bled dry." The setup was airtight: funds for my stability, housing, maybe grad school, with clauses blocking any family withdrawals without Mr. Derek's sign-off. Linda nodded, sharing a story of bailing out Lisa's failed jewelry venture years back, her own savings never repaid. The secrecy weighed on me. Hiding it from Mom and Dad felt like a betrayal of its own, but their history of enabling Lisa from childhood handouts to college bailouts justified it. As Gladys's strength faded, finalizing the trust brought her peace, her eyes softening. "Now I can rest," she whispered, the Denver night quiet around us. That trust and her trust in me set the stage for what was coming. The Denver evening felt wrong from the moment my phone buzzed with Dad's text, "Dinner tonight. 6 p.m. Estate matters." His words carried a weight that didn't match our usual chaotic family barbecues. Still reeling from Grandma Gladys's passing, I drove through the city's frosty suburbs, the snow-dusted streets amplifying a creeping unease. Pulling into our family home's driveway, Lisa's glitzy SUV loomed, its chrome rims mocking her endless tight-budget excuses. My beat-up hatchback parked beside it felt like a quiet jab at our lifelong divide. Mom's welcome at the door was overly warm, her hug clinging too tight, her smile brittle as thin ice. "Sweetheart, you're here?" she cooed, voice dripping with something forced. Dad's greeting was curt, a stiff nod replacing his usual grin. "Glad you made it, Crystal," he said, eyes darting away. The house reeked of her pot-roasted dish she wielded when she wanted leverage. Lisa lounged in the living room, scrolling her phone, a new gold bracelet glinting on her wrist, another lavish buy for someone always broke. "Yo," she mumbled, barely glancing up. The air crackled with hidden motives, their forced ease making my skin crawl. Carrying drinks from the kitchen with Mom, I caught it Denise and Lisa near the counter, grinding pills into my portion, their hands moving with practiced stealth. My heart thudded, but I kept my cool, nodding through Mom's chatter about snow forecasts. Excusing myself for a bathroom break, I slipped into Dad's study, the door half open. A folder labeled Lisa's finances sat on his desk in Troy's neat script. I flipped it open. Hands trembling, bank records showed over $100,000 in unpaid loans funneled by Mom and Dad over years. Screenshots of Lisa's social media flaunted Aspen ski weekends and Vegas club nights posted during her business lows. An email from her ex, Randall, flagged her reckless spending, ignored by my parents. I snapped photos on my phone, adrenaline steadying my grip, and slid the folder back as footsteps approached. Mom stood in the doorway, brow furrowed. "Crystal, what's this?" she asked, voice sharp. I gestured to an old photo of Gladys on the shelf, forcing a wistful tone. "Just thinking of her." Her tension eased, and she guided me back to the dining room. In my old bedroom now, a guest space, I whispered a call to Maria, my college best friend. "They're spiking my food to get at the inheritance," I said, voice low, laying out the pills and folder. Her gasp echoed my shock. "That's next-level betrayal. You've got to protect yourself." Next, I rang Aunt Linda, who'd backed Gladys's trust. "Stay sharp," she urged, her voice firm. "Mr. Derek and I have your back if this blows up." Their support locked in my resolve like a firewall against a hack. Evidence secured, I stepped back to the table, face a mask braced for the storm about to break. Around the dinner table that night in Denver, the pot roast sat cold as Mom cleared her throat. Her fork set down with purpose. The air was thick, their earlier small talk now a distant hum. "We've been talking about Grandma Gladys's estate." Denise began, her tone polished like she was pitching a deal. Dad nodded, his eyes fixed on his plate. "Your sister's in a rough spot financially, Crystal. Since you're set with your IT job, it'd be fair to redirect some of that inheritance her way." The words hit like a slap, not a request, but a demand, as if my share was theirs to claim. I leaned forward, keeping my voice steady, honed from years of client meetings. "Rough spot. Like what, another failed venture?" Lisa shifted in her seat, her bracelet catching the light. Mom jumped in too quick. "Her boutique plans need a boost. It's a tough market for creatives." I pressed harder, testing their script. "A boost like the $100,000 in loans you've covered for her. Or those Aspen trips she posted during her lows." Lisa's face flushed, her fork clattering. "Who's feeding you that, Randall?" "That jerk doesn't know my life," she snapped, confirming his email's truth. The tension spiked, but I held my ground. "Let's cut the act," I said, locking eyes with Mom. "I saw you grinding pills into my food in the kitchen, Denise." The room froze. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom's eyes widened and Lisa gasped. "You're paranoid." I pulled out my phone, the screen glowing with a banking app alert. "Unauthorized access attempt detected." Mr. Derek had wired it to flag any tampering, ready to ping authorities under Colorado law if pushed. "This," I said, holding it up, "catches moves like yours, spiking my plate to force a signature." Panic erupted. Mom stammered, "That's a mistake." "Turn it off." Lisa lunged for my phone, but I yanked it back. Voice calm but sharp. "It's not just pills. I've got photos of your loan records." Lisa, over $100,000 unpaid from Mom and Dad's accounts. Plus Randall's email calling out your Vegas sprees. Dad tried to smooth things over, his tone desperate. "We're family, Crystal. Help your sister. It's what Gladys would have wanted." I shook my head. "No, Troy. Gladys locked this trust for me, not her. It's airtight, untouchable." Lisa exploded. "You're selfish, hoarding it all." Mom's voice cracked, tears spilling. "How could you do this to us? Dad piled on. Gladys always favored you. Now you're twisting her wishes." Their accusations stung, but the evidence, photos, screenshots, Randall's warning, even Curtis's story of Lisa's unpaid loans shielded me like a firewall. My phone buzzed again, another alert flashing red, a silent nod to Gladys's foresight. Their plan unraveled as they shouted, faces red, the family mask shattered in that Denver dining room, exposing a rift that couldn't be mended. Over the following months in Denver, the fallout from that dinner tore through my family like a wildfire. Mom, Dad, and Lisa scrambled to contest Grandma Gladys's trust, hiring a slick downtown attorney to argue I'd coerced her into signing it during her heart failure. Mr. Derek, steady as ever, shut it down with airtight proof, medical records showing Gladys's sharp mind, Linda's witness signatures, and timestamps proving the trust was set long before her decline. Under Colorado law, irrevocable trusts dodge probate, and the judge tossed their case in weeks, leaving them buried in legal fees they couldn't pay. Their financial house collapsed next. Lisa's debts piled high, from leased luxury SUVs, high-end spa memberships, and those flashy Aspen trips had been co-signed by Denise and Troy for years. Creditors came knocking, relentless. They filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, the kind that liquidates everything to clear unsecured debts, common in Colorado for cases like theirs. The family home, a Denver suburban staple with its wide lawn and wraparound porch, went to auction, sold off to cover liens. Lisa's glitzy SUV got repossessed mid-process, her gold bracelet pawned alongside designer shoes to scrape by. Mom and Dad's credit scores tanked, locking them out of loans and forcing them into a cramped apartment on the city's edge. The shame of it clung like damp cold, their names whispered in neighborhood gossip. The social blow was brutal. Relatives, long aware of their favoritism, pulled away. Curtis, our cousin from Boulder, called me first, fuming about a loan he'd given Lisa for her boutique flop, never repaid. "I'm done with their excuses," he said, siding with me after hearing about the pills. Aunt Linda, who'd backed the trust, spoke up at family reunions, laying out Gladys's wishes and calling out the spiking attempt. Word spread like static through Denver's tight-knit circles. Texts, coffee shop murmurs, old friends dodging Mom's calls. Lisa's social scene crumbled as former coworkers, tipped off by Randall's warnings, distanced themselves. Her once packed Instagram stories now ghosted. The family's facade of unity, polished for years, shattered in public view, leaving them ostracized in their own community. I drew a hard line, no exceptions. Their texts flooded in at first, Mom's tearful pleas, of Lisa's broken help, her dad's gruff, "You're tearing us apart." I read them once, then blocked each number, their words fading like static. Unknown numbers, likely burners, hit my voicemail, but I deleted them, unheard, my phone's silence a relief. When Mom sent a long message begging for family healing, I swapped my number entirely, routing any estate matters through Mr. Derrick. Therapy sessions with a Denver counselor grounded me, unpacking years of buried resentment. "No contact isn't cruel," my therapist said, voice calm. "It's survival." I leaned into that, cutting the cord on their guilt trips, each block a step toward peace. Their world shrank while mine opened, the weight of their betrayal lifting as I locked them out for good. A year later, in my steady routine in Denver, I channeled Grandma Gladys's inheritance into something lasting: the Gladys Financial Initiative, a nonprofit teaching young adults to navigate money and toxic relationships. Using part of the trust funds, I built workshops in Denver community centers, blending practical tools, budgeting apps, basic investing with lessons on spotting manipulation like guilt trips or lopsided family demands. Volunteers from my IT network helped craft online courses, reaching thousands through free webinars. One email from a college kid thanking us for dodging a shady loan from his uncle made it all click. Gladys's wisdom was now a beacon for others, shielding them where my family had faltered. Therapy became my compass through the aftermath. Weekly sessions with a Denver counselor peeled back layers of grief, not just for Gladys but for the family ties I'd severed. We dug into childhood slights, the sting of Mom and Dad's favoritism, and the weight of Lisa's betrayal. Journaling became my outlet, mapping out triggers like stray memories of family dinners or quiet holiday nights alone. My therapist's words rang clear: cutting contact isn't failure, it's reclaiming your peace. I leaned into that, reframing the fallout as growth, shedding the guilt of their unanswered pleas. My chosen family filled the gaps naturally. Maria, my best friend since college, carved out weekends for hikes along Denver's foothills, her steady presence a balm as I vented lingering anger. She'd laugh, tossing a pebble into the trail dust, reminding me I'd earned my freedom. Aunt Linda stepped up too, inviting me to her Aurora home for quiet dinners, where we'd pore over old photos of Gladys, her stories grounding me in roots worth keeping. Their support wasn't tied to blood, it grew from mutual respect, like when Maria brainstormed quiet ideas late into the night, or Linda connected me with local donors. These bonds held me through the quiet waves of loss, turning solitude into strength. The lessons crystallized through it all. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's a lifeline, guarding your well-being against pressures to give in. My worth isn't tied to what I sacrifice for others, but to the integrity I hold firm. Financial independence, built through years of grit, is a shield against exploitation, a truth Gladys drilled into me. And family. It's not DNA. It's the people who lift you up, not drag you down. Gladys's final gift wasn't just money, it was the clarity to choose connections wisely. For anyone caught in similar binds, know this. Prioritizing yourself isn't betrayal, it's the key to breaking cycles and finding real fulfillment.